Welcome to another episode of Make Mental Health Matter. I am not at my house. I hope you all had happy holidays and a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. And going into the new year, I hope you have an incredible new year. I wanted to make sure that I went live now because there are some changes that are coming up in the new year, and I wanted to be able to share those with you instead of doing rerun after rerun after rerun, as most TV is doing right now. And I had to do a couple for Christmas Day and a couple before due to traveling. So hence the reason I am not at my home and I have a new background for this particular episode, which is okay. But I want to give you some tools, some information as related to New Year's resolutions. So we're going to talk about that today. I also want to give you an update as far as the Make Mental Health Matter show, how that's going to look as we go into the new year. I know I have been alluding to it the past couple of episodes, but I wanted to share the official word with what is happening in the new year. And then, I don't know, we'll see what else we end up talking about. But it may take a little bit to go through what I want to talk about with New Year's resolutions. And how many of you actually do New Year's resolution? And is it one of those, I'm going to get fit, or, oh, I'm going to stop drinking, or, oh, I'm going to, be nicer to people. I don't know what it happens to be, but a lot of people generally with New Year's resolutions, they fitness, right? Fitness becomes that thing. They're like, I need to lose 20 pounds, or I need to just be healthier and eat better, whatever it might be for you. So they set this resolution going into the new year. And oftentimes, most of the time, you're like gung ho, you go to the gym, it lasts for about a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months, maybe 4 months. And you're like, yeah, I'm feeling really good. And then life happens. Things get busy again. Then you go into summertime and you're like, oh, well, I don't need the gym membership. I can go outside. And then maybe it doesn't continue, or maybe it does. But most people that set New Year's resolutions don't actually follow them. Why is that? Why is it this thing, or how did it become this thing that we need to set New Year's resolution? And then why does it become this thing that we don't follow through on them? And there's a lot of reasons. Of course, everybody is different, and everybody in this world experiences things differently. We also have certain goals in mind that we want to obtain. And maybe, again, life happens. We just don't have the time, the energy, the motivation, the people that actually, accountability partners, whatever it might be. The New Year's resolution goes to the wayside. And that just happens. And it's kind of like this cycle. And every single year, I mean, if you think about it, gyms are brilliant. Like a gym, a place that you would go work out, it is brilliant. They actually, their peak season is before the new year and after the new year, because they know people are going to come and get memberships, and then they're just going to keep paying them, even if they do or don't come, because it's one of those things that you're like, oh yeah, I need to get back in the gym. Oh yeah, maybe next week. Oh, I gotta do this thing, then I'll go back into the gym. Whatever it might be. But brilliant. If you think about it, that is a brilliant business. Anyways, whole nother subject. So, what I'm going to tell you though is there is a way to break out of this cycle. There is a way to, instead of doing New Year's resolutions, we can set goals for the entire year. And that way, once we hit or obtain those goals, you can check them off or you can erase them depending on what you do. So I'm going to give you three things. We'll see. I think it's about three. Three things that you can do. And the very first one is, and this is all instead of doing a New Year's resolution. So, you may or may not have heard of people having a word of the year. And you can take some time, think about maybe one word or two words that go together. I know one year I think I had four words. I would not recommend that because then your brain is really confused. So your brain really, really likes clarity. But what you can do is ask yourself, what is really important to me in this new year? What is one action or some sort of action or word or feeling? Like, what do I want to get out of this next year? Like, what is that feeling that I feel? Or what am I seeing that I want this this world, there you go, this year to look like? What are the sounds that I hear as I have this experience going into next year? And you can really think about those things. How do I feel? What do I want to see? What do I want to hear throughout the year? And then just close your eyes. What is important to me about this next year? Take some breaths. And if you're sitting down, you can do this with me. If you want to, have a pen and a paper maybe ready so that you can write down whatever pops into your mind. But go ahead and close your eyes, take a couple minutes, deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Let your body relax. What do I want to see? What do I want to hear? What do I want to feel in 2024? And allow your mind to just clear. Feel your body sitting on the chair, your legs in the chair, your feet on the ground under your chair. If you have any other thoughts, just put them in little bubbles and let them float away. Take a couple more breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And what is it that you want to see? What do you want to feel? What do you want to hear in 2024? What are the words that are popping into your mind? And just allow your brain to let whatever come through. And once you feel like you have this feeling, this knowing, these words, go ahead and open your eyes and jot them down on that piece of paper. And if that wasn't enough time for you, maybe you can go back to this. Go ahead, rewind, rewind, and do it again. Just let your mind clear and allow any words, any thoughts, any feelings, any emotions that come up and write them down. And if you have a whole bunch of words, that's great. Now, what you want to do is say, what's important to me in 2024? Is it fill in the blank with the word? What's really important to me in 2024? Is it fill in the blank with the word? And if it's not, cross it off. If it feels kind of, maybe circle it. Try it again. Cross them off. So as you say that to yourself, what's important to me in 2024? Is it? And write down the words and just keep doing that until you find that word that sticks out. And it may change, and that's okay. It may change throughout the year, and that's okay. Like last year or this year, we're still in 2023. I had unapologetic action. That felt like what I was doing at the first of the year. That felt really good to me. And then as I went along, I was like, I'm not saying that I want to apologize for my actions, but it feels a little bit better to use the word massive action. That felt better to me. So I changed it because I could. It's my word. There's no rules here. I can make this up as I go, just like you can. And that's pretty cool. So if it changes, that's okay. If it feels a little bit different as you're crossing them off or circling them or what, however, maybe there's doodles or writing or images or drawing. I'm not a drawer, maybe like pencil figures or stick figures, but not really a drawer. So let it flow, let it come out. And if you can't get your word of the year, that's okay. Maybe go to Google and Google the feelings or the energy or whatever's coming up for you, and you can find your word. Or I have a couple other things that you can do also. And if you haven't done this in the past, I would highly recommend that you do this. And maybe you do this before you pick your word, or maybe you do it after if you're not really getting your word. But you can write out your mission statement. Like BCC Evolution, my nonprofit, we have a mission statement. We are on a mission to break down the stigma and get people really talking about mental health. That's not the exact words, but that's the gist. And a vision. We have a vision that we are going to educate 1 million people by 2030. That's a big goal. It's a big vision, but that's the vision. That's our long-term goal that we're trying to get to. So write out your mission, write out your vision. You should always have, not always, but it's a good practice to have a mission statement for your life, a vision statement for your life. And I didn't bring my paper. I should have brought them, but I put it on a little bit bigger card stock, my mission and my vision and my goals, and we'll get there. But write out your mission statement. What are you on a mission to do? For me, it's helping people. Like I just really truly want to help people. I want to be able to educate them. I want to make an impact in this thing that we call life. I want to save lives. Like my mission is really, really big, but it's my mission and that's what I want to do for my life. I also want to be the best mom that I can. I want to be the best wife that I can. I want to be the best founder and leader of a nonprofit that I can. That's part of my mission. And it changes and it adapts. And my vision, it's so crystal clear. I wrote out every single part. And one of the practices that you can do here is just envisioning, like in the future, 5, 10, 20 years, that big, big picture. What does that look like for you? And write it out in detail. I woke up in the morning in my beachfront property. I stepped into the shower and I felt the warmth of the water hitting my body and I felt energized. Once I took a shower and I got ready for the day, I headed downstairs into my kitchen where my son was happy to go to school and my husband was on his way to his job and all these little pieces, but I had the opportunity to step out on the beachfront property and just sit in the I can't even say the word, but I wrote it out. The Arndark chairs. Yeah, I don't know how to say them, but I sat on the chairs facing the beach and just heard the waves crashing. And I sat there with my cup of coffee or my cup of tea, and I allowed my vision to come to fruition. Then, as I sat there, I downloaded what I needed to get done for the day. After I was done with my tea, I walked back in the house. I got in my car. I got in my, you can say your specific car, whatever car at that time when I wrote out, this is kind of my vision statement, but not fully dot, dot, dot. I jumped in my Jeep SRT and drove off to our building where we have BCC Evolution. All the board members were there. Everybody was hustling and bustling, and the creative juices were flowing. And it was just an amazing environment where my daughter and my son and my husband all joined me later, and my net worth is $1 million, and I have successful businesses, etc., etc., etc. So if you noticed, I got really, really clear. Like, I felt the sensation of the warm water. I knew what kind of chair I was going to be in, even though I can't say the actual name of the chair. It was a specific chair. And I know what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to sound like in my vision. And so I challenge you to do that. Write out your vision statement, and it can adapt and change. And maybe you're like, I'm already worth $1 million, lady. I need $1 billion, right? Whatever your net worth is, or you want your net worth to be, like, actually write it in there. And then once you have all this information, so now you've got your mission statement, your vision statement, you want to write out your goals, and you're really only doing your top 3 for the year, because I mean, you could probably do 4, and you could maybe do them by quarter if that feels like something. Maybe you're in business, and you want to write out your business ones, you want to write out your personal ones. You could do 4 so that they're per quarter, but I would highly recommend at least your top 3 goals. Don't go much more over 4, because we want to break it down, and we're really trying to accomplish things within the 1 year. And we want to be selective. We also want to be able to accomplish these, right? And we'll talk about one other piece of that here in just a minute. But so now you've got your mission statement, you've got your vision statement. That, again, if you couldn't get your word for the year before, that's okay. Take the mission, the vision, and then maybe once you do your goals, then you can maybe get your word of the year, right? Maybe those goals have, like, give you a different perspective. So write out your top 3 to max 4 goals for the year. Do your personal, do your business, and then actually write them. So, like, I wish I had my paper. I don't have my paper, but maybe I'll do another episode and I can actually show you, like, physically show you on the screen how much detail, because again, your brain loves clarity. It loves to be very, very clear. And the more clear and concise that you can be, the more likelihood that these goals, you'll actually obtain them, versus just doing a New Year's resolution, which you may or may not actually obtain, right? You can also go a little bit even further into this. You've got your mission, your vision, and you've got your word. Maybe it's coming up, your goals. If it's not feeling like I just want to write them down, do a vision board. Those are so much fun. So take some clippings out of a magazine, or you can print them off of Google. Maybe there's a house that you have been gunning for, that you're like, I want that house. Take a picture, put it on your vision board. I am personally one that I like the tangible, like, in front of my face. There are lots of apps that you can do electronic vision boards. I personally have a whiteboard right next to my bed, and that way I actually, so 2 years ago, I think it was, it was just all over the place, like mumble jumble, like big whiteboard that just had words and sort of pictures on there. And then I got even more organized in my life. And I did it more of there's like a way that you can feng shui your vision board. So you have different quadrants, and all of this is on Google. So you can actually like Google and see the vision board like and the quadrants. So it's like travel, life, family, um, relationship, I don't know, business, and pleasure or something. Like there's, I think I want to say 6 quadrants. Um, so check it out. Go Google it. You can feng shui your vision board, which is awesome. And it just brings in different energy. So, and the whiteboard, I can cross them off, I can erase them, I can redo it at any point in time. As I hit those goals, then I erase them. And then I have all this white space. I don't add anything back because I've already got enough on my vision board, but I can just erase them. And that's perfect for me because then I see all this white space that I'm like, I obtained that. Or maybe the goal changes through the year. Maybe it's not a 2024 goal now. Maybe it's a 2025 goal. That's okay too. I can erase the date. I can change it to the next. Or maybe it's like I did that in quarter 1, but actually I'm going to be able to get to it in quarter 4. You can totally change those. And that's what I personally love about the whiteboard. So we're going to go into a little bit more detail, but first I have to go to a quick sponsored break, and then we will jump right back in how you can change up your New Year's resolutions.
I'm Julie Jones Hamilton, and my partner, Lynn Kitchen, and I co-host World's Greatest Motivators every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific on the Achieve channel. Come join us and the best thought leaders in the planet today, right here at E360 TV.
And like that, I'm back. If you happen to be just joining, thank you so much. My name is Kelly Melissa Reinhardt. I am the founder of BCC Evolution, a mental health and suicide awareness nonprofit, and the host of the show Make Mental Health Matter. I have been talking about New Year's resolutions and what you should do instead of a New Year's resolution, because most of the time New Year's resolutions don't stick because it's generally an empty goal that we create that we haven't really put a lot of thought, a lot of time or effort behind for the most part, or life just happens and we have good intention, but maybe we get busy or something else comes up that we just can't fully commit. Maybe we have a lack of motivation. Maybe it's just really not that big of a deal. So why does it matter? Everybody else does resolutions. Why shouldn't I do? Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to do a New Year's resolution. There are other ways and better things that you can do. And I'm sure you've heard of most of the things that I've already talked about. But if you haven't, this is just a great way to really start off your new year in a positive and step ahead, I guess I would say is the best way I can explain it. But ultimately, I was talking about your word of the year. Pick a word of the year. It can change. You can write it down, pick another one, like just see what feels like the energy that you want to have in 2024. Then we're going to write out, or maybe we do this first, but write out our mission, our vision for our life. Maybe we do it in business and personal. And then we're going to write out our goals. So our top 3 goals for the year, or maybe you do 4 because there's 4 like quarters in a year. So maybe you're doing 4, but I wouldn't do any more than 4. And what are those goals? So I was saying that I am not at my house, clearly. I have a different background. But if I were at home, I would be able to actually show you what my mission and my vision and all of that looks like. But I don't have it. And that's okay. Maybe I'll do another episode in the new year. Um, but I want to tell you about that super, super quick because if anybody is just joining and if you have to pop off here soon, I am changing the time of this show. It will no longer be on Mondays and Wednesdays. I am going down to just Mondays at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So instead of 11 a.m. on Mondays and 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, I will no longer be doing the Wednesdays. I'm just going to be doing Mondays. So Mondays at at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That will be when my show goes live. So the Make Mental Health Matter, we are shifting into a better spot, I guess, more of a prime time spot. So Mondays at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, wherever you happen to be in the world, instead of 11 a.m. So that's my big announcement for the show, and I will remind you of that. Although this is my last show of this year, of 2023, that's why I wanted to make sure I went live, even though I'm not home. The shift is happening and it will be Mondays, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So make sure you join. All right, let's go back to our goals. I was also talking about a whiteboard. Like I use a whiteboard. So I used to say that I was not very organized, but then I look at my vision board and I look at my kid's Pokemon cards. Yes, he collects Pokemon cards, and I I have them organized by kind, by stage, whether it's basic, first stage, second stage, by color, and I have not done by name, but I always said in the past, I've always said that I was not very organized, and if I need a reminder, I look at his Pokemon binder and or I just look at my vision board because my vision board is pretty organized as far as the different quadrants. So again, those are feng shui quadrants. Just Google feng shui vision board quadrants and you will probably find all kinds of things. So, with that said, pick whatever works for you. My way may not work for you, and that's okay. Maybe you want to do it online so that you have it with you all the time. Again, there are some really great apps out there that do vision boards, and you can keep it in your phone electronically with you. They also, like, you can add mantras on there. You can make video vision boards. Like, there's so many different ways. But whatever you do, I would highly recommend because then you can kind of be like, this is really important to me. This is really important to me. Oh my gosh, this is the house. Like this is the house that I want. This is the car that I want. This is the place that I want to have my business at, right? Like you can physically see the location or the item or the object in front of your face. And the interesting part, I heard this story that there was somebody that made these vision boards, right? And they're like, this is the house that I want. And then they end up like putting the vision board, and then years and years and years later, they're like unboxing everything at their house. They had just moved. They're unboxing everything and they pull out this vision board. They're like, oh, I remember when I made that like a long, long time ago. And they pull it out and they're like, wait, this house? And they're like, oh yeah, I remember putting that on this house. And then they look around and they're like, I bought the house. Like, they legit bought the exact house that was on their vision board. I know that sounds crazy, but our brains are so powerful. And when we get crystal clear with what we're trying to accomplish, and we like, if you've ever read the book, like any laws of attraction and oh my gosh, I'm blanking what the name, I'm gonna have to think about it. But any of those, like, you literally, like, you draw in the energy. Like, if you are hyper focused on that thing and you make it part of your vision, part of your goals, part of your vision board, like, your brain now can see that thing. It can see the item, it can see the object, it can see the whatever it happens to be, and your brain's like, that's what I want, and it starts bringing in the energy. It's super cool. So and it's been proven, and people have had those moments all the time. So try it. Maybe you don't believe what I'm saying, and that's okay too, but maybe it's something that you step outside your comfort zone, and the more that we can be clear, the better. So I was talking about, that was a long-winded way of saying this, but I was saying with your goals, you want to get really, really clear. So what is the goal? The exact goal, right? Let's see, I'm trying to think what was one of mine. Um, I can't think of it right now, but oh, so BCC Evolution, as I've said in the past, we have Warrior for Mental Health monthly donors. My goal was to get 25 new monthly donors every single month. I think at that point it was like just 25. Like, I wanted 25 donors. And how was I going to do that? So my goal, it's very specific, right? You can use, you probably have heard of SMART goals. So specific, measurable, um, my brain's like, what is a SMART goal? You probably know SMART. I know T is timely. What's A? Anybody? Oh man. Actionable. All right. So specific, measurable, actionable, specific, measurable, actionable, S R, relevance, and timely. Good thing I'm not a trainer of SMART goals, right? So specific, measurable, actionable, or being able to take action on. Um, what was our? I just said it. Really, my mind was like, blah, I don't know. Blah blah blah, and timely. Okay. Anyways, you can go back and rewind to what I said a minute ago. Um, but those, you can use SMART goals. So, like, is it something that you can measure? Is it something that is time limited? We're talking about only 1 year. We're only looking at 1 year right now. So it's time. Like, and are we doing quarters? So is it like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4? Or am I just doing 3 goals for the year because that's easy for my brain to remember? Um, so put them in there. Like, what's specific? I specifically wanted 25 monthly donors. How am I going to get them? Well, I can write out like what channels. So say, Make Mental Health Matter TV show. I'm going to tell you every single episode that I do that you can go and donate $19 per month. It's only 63 cents per day. And that goes to every single program that BCC Evolution runs. I'm going to tell people on my show. I'm going to get a PSA out. I'm going to make a billboard. Like, I'm writing all these down, right? Like, how do I get it done? Who are the people that I'm going to target? Um, what is the quarter that I'm going to put it in, right? Like, is it Q1, we get 25, Q2, we double that, Q3, we do blah, right? I'm talking more about business right now, but, this is just easier for my brain right now to like think of this. And then I'm going to write it all out. So I'm going to be very specific as I write out my goals because again, the brain loves being specific and clear. It also really loves repetition. So the more we can repeat things over and over, the better it's going to get ingrained in our brain. So that's why it's important to write it out so that you can see it in front of you. Whether that is writing on your cell phone, whether that's putting on a laptop, whether that is writing it by hand. I don't know. I like the hand. And then I transfer it into written form on a computer, make it all pretty, get my pictures off of Google. I'm going to drop them in, right? Or maybe it's something personal, like you want to buy a house, like your goal in 2024 is to buy a house. Where do you want to live? You want to live in Denver, Colorado. Um, or maybe you want to move across country. Maybe you want to go to um, Europe. Maybe you want to go to Australia. I don't know where you want to go, but maybe you want to go somewhere abroad, right? And what is the neighborhood? What does the house look like? How much are you going to pay? What are your bills are going to cost you? How much down payment are you going to have, right? Like these are very specific. That's the point I'm getting to, is how, not how, but get really specific so that your brain is already understanding how it can help you make this goal come to fruition. And you're going to be really surprised and just amazed and grateful for yourself of once you accomplish this goal, you can erase it off of your whiteboard or you can cross it off um on your piece of paper that you just wrote out. Oh yeah, my brain's like, man, a lot. So I'm gonna keep right there because that is a lot of information. And I want you to be able to actually accomplish these. The very, very last thing that I want to give you is one, and you're only picking one comfort zone destroyer. That's what we call it, is a comfort zone destroyer. What is that one thing that you want to obtain by, give it a time? Maybe it's the end of the year. Maybe it is by summer. Maybe it is the end of Q1. Whatever that happens to be. What is that one thing that is going to expand you out of your little bubble that you live in and makes you feel kind of like, ugh, like your belly's kind of gurgling a little bit in there, and you're like, I don't know if I can do this. Oh my God, I don't know if I can actually do this, but I really, really want to. Right? Mine was back in the day when I first did this with one of my old mentors. Mine was quitting my corporate job. That was like my comfort zone destroyer. And it took me 3 years from the first time I ever wrote it down. It took me 3 years to actually obtain my comfort zone destroyer because I was so scared of that thing. I was so scared of leaving my little nest, my little bubble of my corporate job to jump into my nonprofit full time. That was scary for me. It took a lot of planning, but that was the thing that I had on my comfort zone destroyer for 3 years. Yeah, three and a half years. And then finally one day I was like, I'm not going to write this down anymore if I'm not actually going to do it. I need to get it done and it's going to happen this year because if I don't, like, why do I keep writing it on my paper every single year if I'm not going to actually do it? So it needs to happen this year. And that year that I made that decision, I quit my corporate job in May. It was May 2021 and jumped into my nonprofit full time, which was the scariest thing ever, but it felt so good when I was able to check that off. And I was like, I'm not writing this on this paper anymore. I did it. And my brain was like, whew. It was like a big relief because I wasn't just keep going like, oh, I was 6 months, oh, 1 year, oh, 3 years, oh, and I'm like, no, stop writing this goal if you're not going to obtain it, right? Our brain is now like, take action. And I did. And it felt great. It was scary, but I took that leap of faith. So that's what I'm saying is like, what is that thing that is your leap of faith thing? And maybe for you, it's gonna take planning. Maybe it's a 5 year, a 10 year goal. That's okay. Write it down as your dang comfort zone destroyer. Because eventually your brain will be like, why do I keep writing this down if I'm not gonna do it? I need to take action on that thing and it's going to happen. And that is really cool. And then you're going to go on to do epic shit. I'm telling you, once you break out of the fears that are holding you back, it's so releasing. I have release and relieve in my brain, but it feels so good. We only have one life to live. This one. And if you believe in other lives, or you know that we have a soul that travels to different places, or maybe you have a different life that you've already lived, whatever it may be, this one that we're in right now, this is the only one life that we're living right now. So why not take that opportunity to give ourselves the best that we possibly can? Tomorrow is not. It's not guaranteed. I know that well myself when I lost my sister. And I feel that in my soul every single day when there are so many people that are out there that are really truly struggling. I see you. I see you if you're struggling. I know how it is. I don't know exactly how you are experiencing your struggle, but I see you. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And if New Year's resolutions feels like the thing that you need to do, I get it. And that's okay. But I wanted to give you some other tools, information, and resources that maybe would help you shift what you're currently doing right now today. Because if we're going to live this thing that we call life, why not have choice over what we're doing so that we can feel really, really whole and we're guided in the direction of what we're really, truly supposed to be experiencing? And I don't know about you, but for me, that feels really good to know that I have more choice. I can have more wholeness. I also know that tomorrow is not guaranteed. So why not make the best of where I'm at right now? And if these little things that I can do before the first of the year or maybe after the first of the year that are going to significantly change my whole entire year, why not? And if I don't obtain them, that's okay. I wrote them down. I have them on my whiteboard. I can change the dates. This is my life. And I get choice how I want to live it. I also have choice in how it's going to affect me if I don't obtain that goal. but I know at least I'm going towards something that's going to help me in the long run. And knowing that is really cool, isn't it? That's right. It really is. So I hope that this was helpful today. And as we go into the new year, there's going to be a lot of changes. One of my big goals is to take this show and expand it and launch it even further, especially as we shift into this new time slot, which is 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Mondays, right before Monday Night Football, if you are a football fan. But you can watch the Make Mental Health Matter right before Monday Night Football. And I really want to change and adapt this to be the most effective for you and my guests that come on. I know that I haven't always done the best job of introducing people as they come onto the show. And so that's one of my goals is going into next year is really highlighting my guests as they come onto the show because all the information that every single one of them have given has been so incredible. And these people that I'm bringing on the show are not just random people. They are people that are truly aligned with mental health awareness, prevention. They've lived it, they've experienced it, and they have stories that they want and the world needs to hear. And I want to make sure that I'm presenting every single person in that light and making sure that they're getting the exposure that they need to. Plus, you also understand their background. And I know I have them tell a little bit about themselves, but I don't think I've done my guests enough justice of coming on the show. But I still like to have those hard conversations that nobody else wants to give you resources, information, and people that maybe you didn't know were out there before. So I invite you to subscribe, add us into your watch list, your wish list, whatever that list is, and make sure that you come back. It's only going to be Mondays at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We will be going live. And again, the whole point, ever since I started this show in 2021, was to give people more information and people resources because again, I see you. And if you are somebody who is struggling, I know that it's important to know that you're not alone and there are people in this world that really truly want to help you and impact your life. So that is the whole point of this show in general. So I greatly appreciate you for watching, and I hope that you have the most incredible New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, whatever that looks like for you. And join me back next Monday at the new time. I will be here on Monday the 1st at the new time, and we'll see how it flows. If you are somebody who wants to be a guest on the show, maybe you align yourself with mental health, you're an advocate, you're in the mental health space, or maybe you have experienced mental health challenges, substance abuse, or you have a story that you know the world needs to hear, reach out to bccevolution.org. Let me throw it up here. Yay! bccevolution.org. Send me a message at support. It's support at bccevolution.org and go sign up today to be a warrior for mental health with only $19 or more per month. That goes to all of our programs, which include awareness, conversation, and education, because we all need a little bit more education in the space of mental health and suicide prevention. It's about time that we link arms and start saving lives. So thank you so much again for watching. I hope you have an incredible New Year's Eve, and I will see you back on New Year's Day. Bye, y'all.